I am a man who, having failed at business, marriage, and fatherhood, lives in a mobile home with myself and my second and final wife, my Helen. She will stay, I know, because of time and because of Todd, my son, who is gone. I am clumsy with speech. Spoken words make me nervous, cautious. People expect them to make sense, to carry truth. When I speak, I am startled by the chasm between what I think and the words that fumble from me. What I have written in my life have been letters either composed on a computer and printed out in tiny ink dots, or earlier before the technology, drawn with red felt pens that rode along the edge of a ruler. This way, the letters on the page would come out straight as soldiers, with flat, aborted bottoms, standing squarely against a blue line, and always on a legal pad. Near the end, when writing Todd, I'd slide the ruler aside, compose the letters in my own hand, and sign them. Love, Dad. In a crooked red street, I ran into the Air Force. Korea was on. It was 1952. I was 18. The armed forces seemed a safer place, posters vivid with camaraderie and patriotism, promises of home loans and tuition, clear and sanctioned enemies. Then there was college and the bank. I became a CPA and spent my days in front of ledgers, bowing my head to yellow fields of gray penciled numbers, able to add tall columns of figures at a running glance. This was never math to me. It was sense, balance, order, none of which would ever make sense to Todd. He dodged math in school, the way he did physical education, inventing ailments and excuses, forging notes in his mother's hand. On sports, like math, Todd drew only a blank, which meant there was no plane on which our selves overlapped.
Possession of the ball, they will come in with a plan. Despite that early goal, they'll be intent on sticking to it.
So many colors.
An art school in New York that would take. I could not know then that his work would be considered brilliant in circles, that he would make money, that he would paint only at night and only when he was high.
That, I cannot support. Paint if you want. A hobby or something in your spare time, but first, do something to support yourself.
That his work would show in galleries, hanging from white walls in places I never heard of. Now, whenever I see something of his work, the only sense it makes to me is that it makes no sense at all. This and that in his paintings, I see the light and the darkness moving together at once. He didn't come home again until he was 28. 10 round years. I had gained a wife who collects crystal people. Often, it seems, in the spring and fall, we will see on TV a trailer park ripped to shrapnel by some right of weather.
Now.
Helen was my nurse when I lost the lung, sturdy and firm, and intent of finding someone to fix. I was alone and lonely, having lost so much. I needed someone and something to gain. She takes care of me, something I never knew how to do, alone or with anyone else. That was enough to make me love here then and still. Todd stood at the door, the 10 years and more between us, the red heat in his face from having run 5 miles. I had no idea who he was. I saw that his eyes were his mother's, and that, until that moment, he had been only a product of my own ambition, my own imagination, my distance. It did not look like a son I would have.
Good run?
Hard to breathe. The air is so dry, brittle.
You should see the summer.
I should see a lot of summers.
Helen gets home usually around 4. We eat early. You up maybe for a movie or a matinee?
Yeah, sure.
We probably don't have the kinds of movies you are used to seeing in.
The world is one big cineplex now. Hollywood is everywhere, which is why it isn't here anymore and didn't be.
Isn't where? What's isn't where?
Hollywood, all that's left are letters on the hill. The rest is history and myth. A movie would be swell. You pick, I've seen nothing. Burn girl!
Todd!
Wait, look, she got it off. Looks like she saved her hair though.
I picked a movie in which the father sickens and dies, leaving a son with an unresolved anger. It was still light when the movie let out, and I drove us to a park on the edge of town that is something like a forest of cacti. The day had gone suddenly cold, and the freeze in the air blurred the sky. I told him what I learned about the cacti, how slowly they grow, an inch a year, I thought. I pointed to the strange way some of them reached to the sky.
Look, like arms.
It's very lunar here.
The man on the moon?
I was sick last year, Dad.
Well, join the club.
Mine, you can cut out.
You're what?
Why have you brought me to this dangerous place?
The big one? My blood? You're telling me you're gay, aren't you?
That isn't really the point.
It is a point. Are you sick now?
It never goes away, all the way. It's like a tide. It goes in and out, a little higher every time it comes in. And then you drown. I had pneumonia. I was in the hospital. I got better. This time, I'm back to running a little.
Are you alone? I mean, out there in New York, Manhattan?
Yes, I have friends. But I have no Helen.
What about Nick?
He moved west. He died. That was 89. He was only a friend. Not only a friend. A friend.
I wanted to touch him, but was afraid, not so much of him, but of my own hand, that it would impart no strength, that it would fail him again, or worse, as I hadn't touched him since he was a baby, or in violence as a boy, that it might shock him, feel to him like another blow. On the day of the night Nick was to sleep in our house, Todd and I rolled the sleeping bags out on his bedroom floor.
They should be next to each other in the middle of the room, so close they almost touch, but not quite.
Nick showed up, small, silent, and doe-eyed.
Now.
By the time Todd turned 9, he was sleeping on top of a set of bunk beds he had said was the only thing in the world he wanted for Christmas. The one and only thing. One Thursday, when Todd came to dinner that night,
Remove the plaques and promise never to glue anything to the furniture again. We paid good money.
But Nick is moving to New Jersey. It's too far to visit. The time is different there. 3 hours.
Helen followed Todd, who carried her boxed Christmas tree from the storage shed into the living room. While they assembled her tree, I shuttled from game to game on the TV, from section to section in the paper.
They're like bottle cleaners.
Like what?
Bottle cleaners. You know those brushes you use to wash bottles with?
Yes, like we're baby bottles.
Bingo!
Don't! Don't touch it.
It doesn't bite.
Yes, he's definitely down.
Darn if he's not.
He's not. He's not crying, is he?
Can't really tell. No, must be sweat. You know, it hurts like childbirth.
Nothing? Absolutely nothing. Well, a little, I guess. A cactus? A tumbleweed? Very Georgia O'Keeffe? No, none of that. I swear to God. Like the moon, some sort of lunar service station, very lost in space. Yes. Okay, so get a visual on this. No, nothing. Nothing's real. Yes, the tree too? What is Monsanto? Wait, I'll check. Yes, even the bedspreads. However, it's very retarded. Right, retarded.
You are being a girl. Where on earth did you learn to laugh like that?
You heard?
Only you laughing.
From mom, I guess. Yes, laughing. That would be a mom part.
On the next morning, Helen had already gone, and the notion of filling up a day for and with Todd frightened me. As I got up, I saw Todd running across the road, long, loping, deliberate strides, his hands in gloves. I dressed as quickly as I could and was out of the trailer in the park before Todd came home. I was, I think, giddy with the notion that I knew what to buy my grown son for Christmas.
You got me shoes?
It looked like you needed some new ones.
They fit.
I checked your others while you were out running. I didn't mean to snoop. It was only your shoes.
I think the idea is to keep them and me out of the hospital. You get it, don't you?
You look strong when you run. I mean, you seem to be a strong runner. Your form, long solid strides, as though you were built that way.
Thank you. You win.
The looming regret I have about life is that there are stationary fronts, banks of clouds between fathers and sons, between men, between a man and himself. Because of this, I had no idea how to touch him then. He in his new shoes, I sitting staring lamely at a gift I cannot recall. Now that he is gone, I have no idea how to bear having felt at this. The knowledge of how to stand and hold on to my one son.